outbreak in the country, Christmas messages by the leaders, and of course the incidents that were reported during the festive season. Today in this panel discussion, I am joined by Kong Palchang, who is our station manager, and also two of our senior journalists, Al-Hadi Awari and Mama Helen Samuel. Welcome to Around South Sudan once again, and without further delay, let's dive straight into the discussion. I welcome you all, my panelists, for this wonderful discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Straight away, what is the current status of the cholera outbreak in South Sudan? And I think this question I will have to start with you, our station manager, Mr. Kong Palchang.
Okay, thank you again, and we are happy to be our host in absence of La Suba Memo. Just to take our viewers a little bit back, for those who don't know how this cholera started. It started in October. It was declared by Minister of Health and WHO, and this is in Reng. And because of movement of people, then it's some cases now started being reported in Unity State in Rupkone at IDP's camp, and then some case now appear in Juba, also the same in IDP's camp. And from our last update from last week, they reported 6,000 cases that has been recorded by the Minister of Health across the country, especially in Bentiu IDP's camp, that is Rupkone, and also they reported about over 60 deaths. As we speak today, we spoke to the director of health in Unity State, and he said as for the last 24 hours, about 10 people died, and over 10 people died, and also 100 of cases that they have recorded. And you may also learn about the death of one of national MP who went and went for official visit in the state, who come from the state also. So that's the latest. And when we try to also to know how is the cases of how is this vaccine things going, and we realize that according to the Undersecretary and the Minister of Health, say that the vaccine, they only receive over 50,000 vaccine for cholera doses, and they only administered this vaccine only in Juba IDP's camp. So they have not yet extended this vaccination to outside
affected areas.
Affected area. So that's the situation we are in now, and the message we are getting from the government is that the official from the government is that that's the preventions. That is the encouraging the member of the public or the citizen that the prevention is easy. You make sure you drink, you eat hot, your food should be warm, and also you boil your water,
you wash your
and
hands,
you stay in clean environment. Those are the key things that they are advising the public to. So that is so far that is the situation we are in. Factor in the Christmas festival that we have been in, and also the New Year is coming. We don't know how things will move on, but we'll still update our viewers next week how the situation is in the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kong Palchang. Now, one quick question before I move to the other panelists. You have said that the vaccines, the prevention vaccines, have been brought by the government, and they are yet to be extended to the states. Do you see, at your view, do you see this as healthy? Instead of giving these vaccines to the affected areas now, you have just recorded about 6,000 plus, cases in Upper Nile State, and it's still now the situation is escalating. Do you see this is a good idea, keeping them here in Juba instead of giving them to the states?
Yeah, according to the Minister of Health, I think they targeted first, the intervention is, this is the city, and the population here is huge in South Sudan. I mean, this is the seat of the government. This is where the biggest population of South Sudan in urban area live. So the strategy could be that let us contain what we have now with what we have, especially with the resource. They don't have enough resource, and you will realize that all these vaccines are from WHO, provided by partner to the government that is helping. So according to the Undersecretary in the Ministry of Health, that they only receive this number of vaccine, and they say they will update us once they receive more vaccine. So I believe as they continue to come, they may go for intervention, mostly in hot spot like Rup Corner, Unity State. So this is the situation. The information was as we have at the movement.
Thank you very much. What efforts are being made to control the outbreak, and are they effective? This is to you, Al-Hadi Awari.
Yes, thank you all. There is a joint effort between the government and the other partners, especially the NGOs and UN agencies, WHO and UNICEF. But the main issue here is the government itself, they don't have budget for that. What they're doing, they're partnering with the other UN agencies so that they can help the people. We start reporting from the POC here, but if you look at the states that currently have the same issue of the cholera, is Upper Nile, Jonglei, because in the county of Duk East of Jonglei State, they have a lot of issues there. Twitch East, I mean. So because the MP, the member of parliament who representing the county, Honorable Deng Dao, we talk about it, especially one of the messages that is sent through during the Christmas time. So here, our people are very vulnerable. Okay, the one of Rang County, last week, it was Friday, I got the chance to travel to go there to bury one of our close friends, Honorable Dengoch. I engaged with the commission and asked him, what's the problem exactly? The cholera that in northern Upper Nile is not from South Sudan. It came due to the issue of, the influx of IDPs. The influx of IDPs and the refugees. People there in the area of White Nile State, which is close to South Sudan, there is no hospitals. People are moving from there because some of the places there, they don't have any issue of insecurity. But because of the war in Sudan, it affected them in terms of getting even drugs or food. There is nothing there. They cross into South Sudan to get some drugs from South Sudan side. But there also there is nothing. So from there, they will affect some people also. So the number there is increasing on daily basis.
Now, Al-Hadi, a quick question on that.
Yes.
What do you think should be done to contain the situation people are in right now?
The only resources that you have in the country is from the side of the NGOs and the UN agencies. So for the government to call them and then meet with them to look at they have their facilities, they have their mobility, they can use their airplane, they can go there. But from the government side, they don't have anything. That's why if you look at the unity, people are dying every day. So we're only reporting. But if you ask for a solution, they say, no, we don't have resources. I remember the minister was here, the Minister of Health was around the area here, because if you go to this side of Gorom, for the Sudanese refugees, also, there is the issues there of cholera. If you go to POC3, especially POC3 is one of the most affected places within the POC scheme here in Juba. So they're calling, every day they're calling, especially we have regular callers, they're calling every day from this place. So the complaint is, now is good enough, Central Equatorial State. I remember the first day, it was early this month, when they call, I tried to call the Minister of Health, Central Equatorial State, Nejo Yo Mursal. I called her, he said, by the way, we are depending on you to get these calls, to get this information, and then we can, have a quick response to it. The quick response is not coming from them. They also will call their partners, and then they go there. So what happened, even the government himself, he formed how do you call it, responsive, there is department. Committee. There is a committee they form. Emergency something responding here. They form it, headed by the Director General of the Ministry, and then now I'm sure they're working very well, because what I'm receiving always from those callers of POC, they say, thank you to iRadio, because you informed the government, and now the quick response to your call, and now they're here, they're helping us with a lot of things, especially the vaccination campaign. This is what is happening. But for us to avoid that also in the future, we're supposed to have a proper plan for it. How? Through the resources that we have. If you don't have resources, you have to prepare your partners also. What is going to happen is 1, 2, 3, 4 as a government. But very unfortunately, the situation that we're in now is really not helping completely. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mama Helen, who is a senior broadcast journalist at iRadio, she's also a host of Under the Tree program. My question to you is, how aware is the public about cholera and its prevention measures, or its preventive measures rather?
Well, I would say that is rather a big question. I'm saying a big question in the sense that, awareness is a big issue. Most population in our country here, for example, they say, are not well educated. The issue of information, illiteracy, and then the remote areas, inaccessible places. We have radio stations, but are they reaching all these places? And then there are so many barriers also. If we want to get even the messages to them, like the preventive measures. One of them is to have a hygienic place, and then congestion. There are things, drink clean water, wash your hands, and all that. All these messages are being broadcasted over radio stations. And then it's like most of the community who are in rural areas are not getting this information. And if they are getting it, even those who are able to hear those messages, for example, the issue of language. We have how many languages in South Sudan? The main ones are English and Arabic. And then in some areas you find that these languages are not, some people don't know the language. So there is still a barrier. So for people to be aware, they have to, you have to have this consecutively. And for us here, most times, we have these messages, awareness messages or campaigns, only when there is an outbreak. But it's supposed to be something that has to go on and on. Like even on the radio stations, even as when you travel and visit your people, you have to keep on broadcasting it. So I would say 50-50 maybe. People are really not really very aware. Because even here within Juba, within the city center, I tell you, my son, I will call you my son.
Yes,
if you move to other areas, you will just see the same thing that we're talking about here. Public awareness, information is not being taken seriously.
It's not put into action.
It's not put into action. You still see children moving around the street. You still see faces. You still see people in in congested places. You still see people having maybe
open foods around,
open food,
and all this.
Utensils. Leave alone that one. Go to the markets. You see people are selling these mandazi, whatever,
and flies are
sandwiches.
everywhere.
There is full of dust, whatever. So it's unhygienic. It's not hygienic. So awareness will take a long time. A few people are getting it, but we also have a tendency, I'm sorry to say this, South Sudanese, we have a tendency of ignoring things. Sometimes we don't believe, oh, there is an outbreak, but it has never happened to me, until it comes to your door, knocking at your door. Then that's the time, so, oh, this is serious. I lost somebody because of this. Now I have to start taking the measures. We believe or to react when something happens, you see. So it's really very important. Awareness is there, but it is not reaching all the states, all the places, all the remote areas. We here too are not taking it very seriously. And then you find that throughout the day, people are hustling, people are moving around. Some are not even listening to their stations or to their radio stations or to their neighbors, things like that. So it will need a very big effort. I would have really been happy if how do we call it, Hamla? Yes, it's a campaign, like the government to organize
community outreach
program, and then public awareness activities, where you go to a place like near the market, you bring people to talk about it, because somebody will be forced to listen.
Sure.
So I would say that we are still a long way from getting there.
Apart from talking about lack of information, Mama Helen, what do you think are the other challenges, that exist, particularly in the remote areas that you have just talked about, in trying to combat or in trying to contain the cholera outbreak?
In remote areas, I would say the issue of water. Recently, I talked to some people from the remote areas. They were telling me you know, their source of water is not clean. The water they are taking, you know, it's like wells. Sometimes it's not running water, and this is very dangerous, you know. And then also whereby there are streams, you don't know, animals, anything can come and just die there. There is no way of purifying the water. Okay, so they are just taking it and leave everything in the hands of God. That's one. And another thing is, like I said earlier on, the issue of hygiene. Also, I observed this in some rural areas, whereby I don't know. Not all areas, not all rural areas in South Sudan are having the same, but now in some places you find that people prefer just to go outside and defecate in the bush or wherever. This is also very dangerous, because some places or some of our states are have rain throughout. So when it rains plus all these things, what does it lead to? The water goes back into the stream. So the water is the main source, and then the issue of these latrines, whereby you can help yourself keeping it clean. And then also in rural areas here for us, we protect ourselves. So you can go and buy Dettol, you can buy detergents and all those things, but they don't have it. So a number of factors really make it difficult for people in the rural areas to be able to contain cholera. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Mama Helen, for that brief overview. Dear viewers, if you've just joined us, this is Around South Sudan on iRadio that comes every Friday at 2. My name is Walmapal, sitting in for Lasuba Memo. And now we are talking about the cholera outbreak that has been affecting most areas, particularly the Unity State, where the reports indicate that 6,000 plus have been affected, plus 101 death cases were also recorded. Now to you, Mr. Kong Pal Chang, as a station manager, how is your station reporting on the cholera outbreak, and what role does media play in prevention?
Thank you again. What is happening is we produce public service announcements that are aired throughout the day. This message goes to people who listen to radio, so that they also know how they can prevent themselves and also help their family, relay the information to people whom they sit around. The other thing also, we talk to people who are responsible for this, especially the government, the authority. What are they doing? And actually we are getting this information from the authorities. When we call them, like for example, we talk to the Minister of Health officials in Unity State. They will tell us what is happening and what they are doing and what is a challenge. And we come and take the challenge and ask the national government also on some of those issues. For example, the Director of Minister of Health in Unity State say they have not yet received the vaccine, and that is the hot spot. Now we have to take this. Why are you delaying? Themselves, the national ministers themselves say this is a hot spot where many people are dying. Why are you taking so long to go to? In some country, in some country, even this Christmas, even the government could have suspended public health officers not to go on Christmas to make sure that they address countries where people are concerned about the life of the people. Of
citizens.
For example, Mama Helen just talked about some of those challenges. In our setup in South Sudan, you find out, even in town, you find out men spend time either in office or under the tree, and women are left to take care of the family. And you realize that the only person, especially the person who needs this information, is the responsibility of you as the head of that family or as a man, maybe your family or a young man who stayed with your parents, that you should relay this information to either your mother or to your sister who is responsible for all these things, cooking and all those water and the children, because who is doing the cleaning? They are women. In some country, it's equally in most countries in the West. But in Africa, let me tell you, in Africa, with our situation, the whole work is done by women. And this information is needed by the women who are left to take care of, those, we say, those are responsibility of women. The other challenge also is that our government is not ready, or is actually struggling to address such issue, which is really a national concern. But what do? You talk about, you see a minister being invited by a UN agent to travel to a remote area to open a 2-room health clinics. The whole ministry of national ministry. You see that? And this plane is hired by the UN. They don't have money. The government has no money even to hire a plane to take its own staff to go and see the situation on the ground. It seems that our official now only interact with people on the ground through UN facilitation. Look at the public health. How will our people also get help if they are not paid? This is the challenge.
Sure.
So who cares now to relay information?
No one, of course.
It's only media now going after this official, come and say something about this, what is happening. So you see, this is the challenge that we have in this country. We are left alone, and because a minister will tell you, okay, where is the budget? Give me a budget, I will go and do this. Fuel, how can I go to Gorom when my car has no fuel?
All
it has to be, these things, these are the most things that are really we are going through as a country.
All right. Before we go to the next topic, I would love to pose one question to you, Al-Hadi.
Yes.
Have you encountered misinformation about cholera, and how do you address it? You have been hosting the Dawn Show, for the last few days. What have you encountered in that?
You see, social media is one of the biggest virtual role that we have in South Sudan. If you're not clever enough, people just send you some messages that something happened like this. Like now in South Sudan, we know exactly which places that there is cholera there. I can remember it was last week someone called me from that side of Gurei, and then he said there is a young girl, she's vomiting, and then there is a lot of diarrhea. So it's not a cholera, but what I did, I just tried to help them with the number of, because you cannot report about it direct like this, you report from the Minister of, it was a weekend by the way. So I called the Central Equatoria, they have contacts. So I call them and then they help on that. So what you should do as a journalist or as someone that also as someone who is informed to inform people, do the right procedure that you can do. Because we know in Juba here, the place that has the issue of cholera is Gorom and this Amadi, and then POC here. POC 1 and 3, not 1 and 2, 3. So people can send their messages and just, they tell you, oh, Mapala, I know you're working with our radio. So there is something like this happening there. Please, can you go and report? And then they say, no, I'm not the concerned person to go and report, but I will get my credible information from someone also in the middle there. Who is that person? Doctors also working with a certain committee at the Minister of Health and Central Equatoria said. So this is the way we are dealing with them. But for you to get the information to publish it is not allowed completely in terms of your ethics of the journalism. So it's there. Like Mama Helen mentioned, we have a lot of issues with our people. So if you look at the cholera itself is the issue of the hygiene and the surrounding environment that you're in, how to keep your place clean, the issue of drinking the water. And in Juba here you can see there is different project of water by Egyptians, by JICA. People just will just go fetch water from there. But later, if you're someone who is aware about what is happening, you'll know exactly. Like Gurei, I don't think there is issue there. Those people there, they have different boreholes of station of the water. Was been done by different partners from the side of the government. But here, you have to be smart enough to think about it, how you can help the people. So from that point, I think you cannot misinform people about it, because if you misinform and then misinform the public in radio.
Sorry.
You're welcome, Mama Helen. Just in 30 seconds. Or in 1 minute.
Just about the misinformation, the biggest mistake we do as even the lineage people is that once you see someone has diarrhea and you know all this information, the public service announcement, people don't tend to rush to the hospital first thing. They always think like, oh, you go and give this kind of herb or whatever, this person will get better. Meanwhile, they are delaying and it becomes the danger to the person who is sick. So the misinformation here is that maybe this is just something like this. I can give any of the traditional herbs and this person will get better. So that is very dangerous.
Thank you very much, Mama Helen Al-Hadi and Mr. Kongpal, for all your inputs during this discussion of cholera outbreak. And if you have just joined us here live on iRadio, this is Around South Sudan, a program that comes to you every Friday exactly at 2. And my name is Wal Mapal, sitting in for Lasuba Memo. Now let's go for a short break, and we shall be right back for another discussion.
Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan.
This program today, one was about the cholera outbreak in most part of the country, and we talked about the cholera outbreak in Unity State, where more than 6,000 cases have been recorded. 110 death cases also have been recorded. And my panelists here in the discussion talked about it. They have shared their views. They put in all their inputs. Now, our next item here, or the second item rather, is about the Christmas celebrations. It was said this Christmas is one of the celebrated Christmas this year, despite the fact that the country, had gone more than 10 years, without receiving salaries, particularly the civil servants and the organized forces. But yes, they made it to celebrate. 10 months, right? 10 months. And now, to start this discussion, how have Christmas celebrations been impacted by cholera and other issues this year? Mr. Al-Hadi, I think we have to start with you.
Since the independence in 2011, this is the first time for South Sudan to celebrate Christmas like this. So, according to some of the callers, they didn't buy anything to their kids, to their family. Very unfortunate. They just celebrate. They went to the church, returned back again. And then if you move around Juba, the roads, you will see there is every roundabout, every corner, you see there is security deployed there. So deployed there, also they complain there is no money there. There is no money completely for them to get. But what we heard also in the media, 2 days ago, before the Christmas, there is 1 month's salary they've been giving to the organized forces, and some of the institutions, civil servants, they receive 1 month's salary. But according to my interview this morning with the AG of the SPLM, he salute the civil servants and organized forces for them to spend 1 year without. He described them as heroes of struggle for this country. But the government have to look at the way that how they can plan, because salary is a chapter 1 in our transitional constitution of 2011. Is amended to 2023, I think. So salary is chapter one. You must give the public servants. It's their right. But people have been working for 1 year without salary is something terrible by the way.
Voluntary.
Yeah, voluntary. So now these days, if you go to the market, there is money there because now the rate of the hard currency reduced from
500.
100 was 500 something, but reduced now to 400 something. So that means there is money somewhere. There is millions of dollars into somewhere in one destination in the country. Definitely, it would be one of the main sources of the money in this country, which is the oil sector. So people, there is circulation of the money, but we don't know. But all in all, the civil servants and the organized forces, they didn't get the money. And then those people, they represent the huge number of the working class people in this country.
Then those that
because,
are in the
because if you want to count the UN agencies or those working private, the private sector they have in the country here is those UN and NGOs. But most of the people, most of the South Sudanese, they're working in the organized forces and civil servants as public service office. So to me, people are just celebrating. South Sudanese are resilient, by the way. They're very resilient. People are just depending on what they have in their hands. Life move on. But if they want to talk about salary, there's no salary there. Why? The government gives some reason some months back. There's no salary because the oil is not working. We're waiting for the resumption of the pipeline to Sudan, the crude oil. But all in all, again, I'm always saying this. What do people need from the government? Only to provide security service, security and peace. To open the roads, people want to do their business.
They will fix the rest for themselves.
Yes, South Sudanese are depending on this money of the government. They're depending on the business that they're doing. Selling this Bafra, selling Bombay, selling whatever, get money and then they move. But it's one of the worst, situation ever since 2011. Because if you go to Bawaba in Juba here, Bawaba Gudele, till yesterday, these cooks, these biscuits is still there. Those who are buying, I think, the small group of people. Because in South Sudan, those who are enjoying, they're less than 1.something%. So the situation is general. It's really terrible. But I pray to God that 2025 will be something different from what we're facing now. Because you cannot link cholera with poverty.
Amen.
Yeah.
To you, our station manager, Kong Pal Chang, how have communities celebrated Christmas amidst health, situations, empty pockets, and the security challenges? And to add on to that question also, what did leaders say? I mean, what messages have leaders shared with South Sudanese during this festive season?
Yeah. I will focus on the message because my colleague Al-Hadi has just spoken about the situation, how people are celebrating Christmas. To me, I can just sum it about as I think South Sudanese, when they got before independence, majority of them were comfortable in their farm. After independence came, because few were the one during the liberation, participated in the war. Then when they came, we got our before independence during the CPA, there were a lot of money, and everybody get adjusted to be part of the National Army, part of the police, part of the civil servants, and that list is still there, and that's so huge for the government paying that, and they were comfortable. They were not thinking of going back to farm and all those things, and there was that environment until 2013, when things turned upside down by the politician of a power struggle. And now the oil is gone, the revenue is not coming to the right account, and we are left, the civil servants are left with nothing but over a year, if that is the case. I think they have just gone back to the way they used to live. The difference is that they are not farming now. People went back to the way they used to live during Sudan. Otherwise, there's nothing they can call now. It's a fruit of independence where they could have done something. But the message from the leaders may give them hope. The head of the state himself, the President Kiir, said, I picked two words from him. He said, one, that the government will prioritize your security, your safety. And I believe during celebration, there were some minimum incidents that we'll talk about later, based on the police report. Although many incidents may have not been reported, they are happening in remote areas. He picks that word. I picked that word where he said the government will prioritize your security, which we have seen. They mobilize huge forces that really help. I believe I've previously, this time I've not moved during the night. I don't know what happened at night, but previously, in the previous Christmases, used to be so many roadblocks and all those things. But from now, when I drive, it's free. I don't know about those remote areas where security cannot go in. The other message also I picked toward the end of the message of the president, his message to the citizen, that I picked the word peace, unity of the country. Hopefully, this unity of the country will be translated in the next resumption of Tumaini peace agreement, because I always say we don't have option. Our politicians, they hold us hostage until we go for election. And the Tumaini is a window for election. This is how I looked at it. And that's the option for all the South Sudanese. Whether they like it or they don't like it, that is the only option, because the leaders failed to implement peace agreement. So if Tumaini come, they bring in others groups. Hopefully people will go for election. Hopefully they will elect their own leaders, and the leaders whom they will now hold accountable, and then maybe they will be silent of gun in the remote area where now even you, as young as you are now, you will go home and farm, because farming is the best. Me also, I will go to my village and farm and have peace of mind. I think let's hope our president will take a lead in making sure this country remain united and peace is achieved toward them, and that is his priority, as he put it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kong Palchang. And now, before we delve into the other discussion, which is our third item, let me have one quick question for you, Mama Helen. Mr. Kong has just explained how the leaders, talked about their messages, how they disseminate the messages of peace to the citizens, to the people, despite the challenges. What was the reaction from the citizens about their messages?
This is a Christmas that I will remember for a very long time, because we interact a lot with our audience. We have messages on social media, but the direct interaction with our audience. This is the first time I've witnessed that people are speaking with one voice. People are all calling. The issue of salary keeps coming up. The issue of peace keeps coming up. The issue of let us learn from our lesson. Let us learn from what has happened to us this year, and then we move on. It makes me feel like these people, they have really surrendered themselves. Like, what can I do? The only thing is, let me keep hope alive. The message that I've been hearing throughout this season of celebration is that let our leaders have that compassion and come together and bring peace. The women are saying, let our leaders pay salary to our husbands, because this has become a source of conflict in the home. And then one thing I've also observed with this, up to this Christmas, is that the table has actually turned. Men used to be the providers, but if you look at it, it's now the women. Why is it that way? Because the men mostly depend on the source of one income. That's their salary. It's not there. How many women are out there doing some businesses? Everyone is now in the market. Men are now even staying at home. You give your husband pocket money if you're on good terms. But a woman who also does not understand will keep on saying, go and hustle, go and then, it's funny to say that sometimes, there are some few men who can, hustle here and there and there, but some men know only one source of income. So the voices of people are really crying out to the government, are really crying out, especially, let me say, to the government, let 2025 be different. And then if you listen to to the politicians and you listen to the authorities and you listen to the religious leaders, the message is one. So now with all these messages, it's like one voice. You really feel like maybe there should be hope. We should hope for a better 2025 because I'm sure no leader can hear or no parent can hear the cry of your child and you say the child is hungry and you say, Kere, you stay. I will not give you food now, I'll give it to you later. I hope our government will feel that my children are crying. So what they want, what's their wish? Let us do it.
And
because
do it.
this Christmas is very unique and it has actually united the people of South Sudan into one thing. Because they are suffering. Let me say, okay, these are those ones who do not get their salaries. These are those ones who don't have the privileges of getting other sources of income. So they are all crying with one voice. We just want peace. We want the salary, even if it is how many months. Somebody just yesterday was saying, okay, after all this time, you pay us 1 month salary. And this was because of the girl who tried to commit to take her life.
Yeah, now we list.
Yeah, who tried to take her life because the parents could not afford to buy something
Christmas
for her.
clothes.
And maybe also the parents are now too harsh. They are very frustrated. They did not speak to her well. They did not explain. So now look at such a scenario. And this is one incident that we have known. How many other incidents are there? We should learn. I really like this message. We should learn from what has happened to us. The lessons can make a better way for everyone. And that's the voice of the people of South Sudan. Women are praying very seriously. One was saying that we are putting our knees down. Let our president listen. So let our president listen. That's the general message.
And that is really a powerful voice from Mama Helen. Of course, it has brought us now to the end of our second item discussion. And in the studio, I'm joined by Al-Hadi Awari, who is a senior radio broadcast journalist for iRadio, Mama Helen Samuel as well, and our stations manager, Mr. Kongpal Chang. Now, with that, let's take a short break. When we return, we'll discuss the incidents that occurred during the festive season. Stay tuned. My name is Walmapal, taking in for La Suba Memo.
We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week, we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week, we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week, we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation.
Welcome back from that.
Each week we explore.
And now to our third, which is also our last item, on the security incidents that were reported during the Christmas festive. What incidents have been reported during the Christmas season in South Sudan, and how has the government responded to security incidents over the holiday period? This is over to you, Mr. Al-Hadi, who have been reporting during this Christmas festive.
Okay, according to reports that we get from, let me pick it, states and counties. For example, in Central Equatoria, we have a report of, there is a car from Juba going to Numule. I think it turned over, and then 3 people from one family died. In Yei, this one is Juba County. In Yei, in one family, 3 people, mother with her 2 girls, I think.
So pathetic.
And then in Lake State also we have like 4 people. In Juba here, we have in Mauna 1, in Gudele also there is 1 person. There is a lady there who was, she sell alcohol in one of the bars, but early in the morning it was on date 21st, I think, this month. She was counting the amount of the trip for 3 days together with her colleagues, and then the criminals came with the pistols. They shoot her. And the Gudele just near to, how do you call it, just near to Brook 7. So the same thing, and there is a case also in Twitch. We report about it, Twitches. They related to the cattle. And then in that side of a wheel is okay, but there is the car just turnover, but people okay. There is any, because they're taking body from Juba here to the side of, I think it's the father of one of the most popular female singer, musician, yeah. So if you compare this year with last year, we are better off than last year, because I think Hang also, like Kong put it, is participating in this, because you cannot carry your machetes or your guns when you're hungry. So you have to eat something, and then you have that power to fight with someone. So we are a little bit okay. We are than last year. But if you look at the security situation in general, people are traveling. From Juba, people are going this side of Kajikaji, Yei, Lanya. People are going to Meridi, Yambio. And I hope tomorrow this guy will come and talk to us about, because the road now is good. The road of Juba, Mundre, Meridi, Yambio is good. The other thing is the fighting of Tombor also. There is some issues there, the number of people being killed also. We report some of them, but some of them we didn't report, because I received a call from the leaders of the area. They say, no, there is some people we kill, but there is no any network of the phones there for them to report. But they received the calls after 3 days. In the area between Tombor and Najiro, between Tombor and Serseibo. Tombor and Serseibo is just close to the border of Central Africa and DR Congo. So, also, today or yesterday we received there is a report, comprehensive report from the police spokesperson, Kasara, about the situation in the country. But all in all, we are okay, we are good. Till today, things are okay. Let us just try hard to cross to the new year, and then we'll see.
Thank you, Al-Hadi. That's the good news, of course, that we are far better compared to last year. Mama Helen, can you share any incidents affecting communities during Christmas, and how have authorities handled them?
I won't say much about that. I will just mention the case I mentioned earlier on. This is an incident that affected the family, and authorities came in. I think they intervened, and because it didn't reach, it did not reach where it was intended to be. So I think parents were also cautioned to be able to speak to their children in a better way. And then there are some other isolated incidences, like someone, just yesterday I got this report, also someone just killed someone around Nyakuron here, and he's right now in custody, and he just got a knife, slashed the stomach of someone with them in the same compound, and this is an only child to a mother there. It became a big issue. Last evening when I went when I returned from the office, I just decided to go and visit somewhere around there. I found so many children in the compound, and they say, what happened? That, something happened like this, and these are the children of that family from Nyokoron plus the brother, so they have to take them somewhere else because they are afraid of retaliation. But now it's already in the a police case, and then the person is in custody, and they are trying to solve that issue. So anything that is reported, it can be taken over by the authorities, unless even this incident says we are talking about, because we also get reports from other people. We really don't know what is happening there until they come. And the other issue was the other one here of Haimauna, whereby also the authorities came in, the joint organized forces, and they actually rescued the situation, and I think things returned to normal at Haimauna. So the good thing is that whatever happens, and the organized forces, the joint organized forces are always there to come and resolve the issue. So I would say that this time around, the security is always available to intervene, unless if they don't know of what is happening. But some isolated incidents, we really don't know unless if they are reported. But if it comes to the attention of the authority, they will always take care of that issue. Thank you. Thank
you very much, Mama Helen. And now, before we go to our closing questions, Mr. Kongpal Chang, how can the government improve in its response to ensure safer festive seasons in the future?
I think they can. The good thing, they started well this year. I know they've been doing that, the joint operation. I think the coordination is really, really good. When they bring in whoever came with this idea, where the police,
have to be
the national security, the army coming together and moving together. And I think also they divide the city. And that's why number of incidents are not that much, because the response is fast. I don't know whether it's from the leadership of the security force that make things are they are definitely they respond on time, or there's another motivation. Hopefully maybe they are also motivated that they are able to react, and especially the incident of most of the incidents of these niggers. If you look at the report yesterday, we sent our reporter to Juba Teaching Hospital, where the hospital, the incidental department, where they report emergency, they report about 180, many of them gunshots and traffic accidents, especially with borders and all those things. So I think that is the report that we get that. But across the other part of the country, we spoke to so many government officials in those states.
Which Al-Hadi talked about.
Positive, they are positive. And one report was, even one of the resident reporter said that in Wow, niggers try to disorganize the Christmas, but they were contained, which is really positive. So I think generally we can say it went well. It went well based on the report we are getting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kongpal Chang. And now here brings us to the end of our discussion. But before that, I will have to just pose one quick question, maybe to all of us. Just in 1 minute each, or even less than that, if you don't mind. What message do you have for South Sudanese as they reflect on Christmas and look ahead of the new year? 1 minute for you, or even less than a minute for you, Mr. Kongpal Chang, and same to you as Mama Helen, and also Al-Hadi.
Yeah, I will just say, let's use the phrase that say, always when we are in darkness, you must have hope. And hope is what they say normally. There's always light toward the end of the tunnel. So it's for all of us, at least, thank God we have crossed over. We have done, we have celebrated our Christmas. Let's hope also we'll cross over to 2025, alive, all of us, and look forward to the better South Sudan that we, all of us, inspire to see and enjoy, all of us together as one country, one people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to say to South Sudanese that please let us respect each other and really embrace the spirit of nationalism. And then again, I want to say to our men of South Sudan that in 2025 onwards, please let's have gender equality and social inclusion in our lives. Together, we can make better things.
Thank you very much. Al-Hadi Awari.
Let us continue with our resilience. You know, as South Sudanese, we are all known that we are very resilient human beings because our background is very clear. We came from very far. Nobody, expect that, one day South Sudan will suffer like this one. The issue of the salaries is a very crucial issue. We hope that 2025, it will be the year of getting all your areas as a civil servant, as organized forces, and then from there we can move on. We can think about, because I'm sure now, with the resumption of oil, things will be okay, because the thinking of those who are handling the money of the people from the government side will know that the thing is affecting the people really in different areas of South Sudan, especially when you have your uncle, your cousin, brother, your auntie, your sister. I'm sure it's affecting you if he or she didn't get the salary. As someone who is hustling somewhere also, that person is affecting, because you cannot leave he or her like that. You have to help the family. Yeah. Thank you.
And thus brings us to the end of today's discussion on Around South Sudan. We have covered the cholera outbreak, the Christmas celebration, or messages from our leaders, and the incidents reported during the festive season. Thank you to my guest, Kong Palchang, our station's manager, and thank you, Al-Hadi Awari, our senior broadcast journalist. Thank you also, Mama Ellen Samuel, our senior broadcast journalist, for sharing your insights into this discussion. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. We hope you found the conversation informative. Be sure to join us again next for more discussions on the key issues affecting South Sudan. I've been your host, Wal Mapal. Stay safe, stay informed, and may you have a Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year 2025 ahead of us. Thank you.
Now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories